Pastor Steve, it's so good to have you here.
It's great to be with you, Pastor Francesco.
I know for many years you have led and you're still leading the Equippers College in New Zealand and now in the UK.
Yes.
And you're also now helping us here
With your college.
Yes, here in Rome,
Amen.
Italy, and I'm very excited. And today, as we have this time together, I really would love to talk about something that we share in one of our conversations about the different lens that we can have when we talk about ministry, when we interpret ministry. And I remember there was something that really touched my heart when you kind of share about the belonging, the battling, and then the building.
The building,
And I remember it was very, for me, important to hear, and that's why I wanted to do this show with you, because I realized that sometimes I am very much into one, but a healthy church probably needs the three of them.
Yes.
So welcome, Pastor
Thank
Steve.
you.
I'm all ready to hear from you.
Well, I've been interested for a long time, that the Bible doesn't have a lot of kind of direct instructions like this is how you do ministry, this is how you do church. But Jesus and Paul just painted a lot of different pictures. So Jesus was like, hey, it's like catching fish, it's like growing crops, it's like hosting a wedding banquet. And actually in Matthew 13, he's like, actually the teacher is instructed in these things and will bring out treasures old and new. And he's almost like, I'm just going to give you some pictures, and the more you ponder these, the light's going to go on like, oh, that's what it's supposed to feel like. And Paul's the same, and he just has these different ideas of what ministry is like. And I think there's some really important distinctions. So one of the passages that fascinates me is Philippians 2:25, where he says, I think it's necessary to send back to you Epaphroditus. And then he says this, he's my brother, he's my co-worker, and he's my fellow soldier. So same person, but three different lenses of the relationship, three different ways that Paul related to this guy. On the one hand, we're just brothers. Wow. It's all about friends. Another hand, we're co-workers, we've got a job to do. But on the other hand, we're fellow soldiers. And I think, we often just get locked into one way of thinking. But, that's an amazing passage. Hey, Paul, same guy. Hey, I wear three different hats talking to you, and you better figure out which one I'm using. And he kind of repeats it again in Philemon with different people. Philemon chapter 1, he talks about Timothy, our brother, Philemon, our friend and fellow worker, Apphia, our sister, Archippus, our fellow soldier. So again, it seems like he works with these three dominant kind of things. On the one hand, we're brothers, sisters, friends. On the other hand, we're co-workers. On the other hand, we're fellow soldiers. And Paul kind of works with people through all three of those lenses. And as you've thought about it, it's like, man, those are really different ways of relating to people. And the danger is I get locked into just one. And I need to kind of operate three. So people often have walked with us like, oh yeah, church on one level is a community. That's the brother, sister, friend. On another level, it's a corporation. It is organization. And on the other hand, there's this cause. And, one of the things is people say, oh, the church is a family. It's not an organization. It's not an army. And I'd say, oh, you are right. You're correct in what you affirmed, but you're wrong in what you denied. We are a family, but we actually are an organization, and we are an army. And you need all three of them. But the danger is people get passionate, probably by their, like you said, personality, preference. Oh, it's all about being family, or it's all about being army, or it's all about organization.
Or by the grace one of us has, more specific into one.
Yeah, but actually you need all of them. And so again, you talk about, brother, sister, friend, that's like the heart of what we're doing. If you don't have that, you don't have heart. But then the co-worker, that's kind of about the organization and the structure, that we kind of know what we're doing. And then the fellow soldier, that's kind of like the inspiring vision.
Wow.
And it's like, actually, if I'm going to have a fruitful ministry, I'm going to need all of those. And actually, there's actually different kind of virtues associated with each. You know, if we're brother, sisters, friends, the main thing is that we love each other. And that's totally true. But then if we're co-workers, you know, there's a whole emphasis being a faithful steward. I've been given a job to do. I need to faithfully discharge that, my responsibilities. But then if I'm a fellow soldier, man, that's about courage and sacrifice and suffering. So, whoa, that's a whole different way of thinking about ministry. So there's all these ideas, but as you said, I kind of felt like God gave me this download in English. Like, it's basically belong, build, and battle. Yeah. And we need all three of those in ministry.
Yeah. I love the fact, when you mention once again, that for some people, church is family.
Yeah.
And if they don't have those lenses, or at least they don't borrow sometimes those lenses, they kind of think the other is wrong. The organizational kind of person is wrong. Oh, no, church is not supposed to be an organization. Or the other one who is always maybe ready to battle. And it's like we all need to have an overview of those lenses, because personally this helps me also evaluating more other people, opinion and view.
It was interesting. I talked about this thing in New Zealand, belong, build and battle, and actually the youth ministry picked this up for the end of year evaluation. So for every youth to have, like, so how are we going with the belong side? You know, how are we going with the build side? How are we going with the battle side?
Wow.
Because that's the point with these pictures. They're like colored filters. They highlight certain things, but they blind you to certain things.
True.
And the danger is I keep looking through my lenses, and they keep telling me why this, you know, they keep telling me, oh yeah, this is working, but they're blinding me. And so so people actually end up really hurt and confused. I don't understand, because everything in my lens tells me I'm doing a good job.
Exactly.
And it's like, I actually have to take off these glasses, put on some other ones. It's like, oh my goodness, I see some different gaps that I hadn't seen before.
Yeah.
And this is the secret for my success, to address these issues.
Wow. And it is also true that if I am willing to wear your glasses, I also conflicts all of a sudden are reduced. Because all of a sudden, not only I can see what you see, but also I can see what I couldn't see.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I think we often, we feel hurt by other people because we realize, oh, they're seeing through a different, until we realize they're seeing through a different lens to us.
Yeah, it's like, oh, they don't respect me, they don't understand me, they reject my point of view. But in reality, without those glasses, without this understanding of different glasses, I don't understand you. I totally see things differently, and I have blind spot. I think in English you call them blind spot.
And I think they, slightly different one, but I think, like the evangelist is all about, we just got to catch more fish. You know, it doesn't matter that they're flapping around in the bottom of the boat dying. It's like, we got more. We got them. Whereas the pastor is more like, oh, we're caring for our family. And those two just totally clash. You know, the evangelist's like, but you need to win more people. And the pastor's like, you need to care for the ones you've got. And they're actually both true.
Yeah.
And there's a different grace. But I think in leadership and in management, people would say it's really important that you can operate with different glasses, different lenses. Like, we respect people that have got a different grace, but actually, if I'm going to be a successful leader, I need to have enough wisdom to be able to see through these different lenses, even when they're not my natural default.
Wow. Which is, it's an humbling process sometimes.
Yeah.
Because you kind of... you have to put everything you believe and you see and maybe you invested in on a shelf. To say, let me take a step back. So that I consider Steve point of view. Or Francesco point of view. And I think even in marriage, this this is a key, isn't it?
Yeah. And Jesus and Paul both you need to have lots of different pictures because they're all partially true, but they all have blind spots.
And you said it in a way before. It was like amazing that it is true. I don't know how you frame it, but it was like you are right, but you're not right. Something like that.
You're correct in what you affirmed, but wrong in what you denied.
Amazing.
Yeah, and the ability to think, I need to evaluate what I'm doing through some different lenses.
Amazing. Well, in the next show, I would love to talk more about each one.
Yeah.
Maybe the belonging, the building, and the battling.
Yeah.
Because I believe a lot of people can, number one, recognize where they stand.
Yeah.
And also kind of start to appreciate more the people that God is sending in their life.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we just want people like us.
Yeah, that's good.
True or not, but
Yeah.
but when we're leading God's church or whatever we're doing for the Lord is not our thing.
Yeah.
It's His thing.
Yeah.
And He often sees things that we miss.
Yeah.
And that's why He's sending someone to kind of complete us and not compete with us.
Yeah.
And
And I think we actually kind of scare each other and we frustrate each other, but we actually need each other.
True. In fact, I think in Equippers, we say, the difference between being together.
Yeah.
And then this is one of our value, or being together.
Yeah, and together with some differences, not just all the same.
Wow. Well, thank you, Pastor. I can't wait to have you again in the next show to talk
Thanks,
more
Pastor
about
Francesco.
it. Stay tuned with our channel for the next show with Pastor Steve Graham, where we are going to talk about the differences between belonging, battling, and building. Looking forward to have you again on our channel.